Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven development video. It is still April 6th for me, and I'm picking up where I left off at the end of the last video. When we had just wrapped up in the last video, we had gotten overflow and underflow taken care of, which means that we have a really nicely polished, if quite small application that does everything that we want it to do. So, oh interesting, $1 billion is okay, $1,000,001 is not. I guess I knew that all along. So anyway, I think the big question now is what do we do next? And I need to take a look at the list of the things to do, but what I'm thinking needs to happen next is that when we have an invalid value in here, I want to see the same invalid icon show up in the corner over here. And I have no idea how to do that, so I might have to do a little research. Hopefully it'll be pretty straightforward. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at our Scratchpad and see what else we have going on. So we're handling the overflow underflow. I want to render invalid dollars with an icon in the text field, and I want to render the negative dollars as red in the text field. So yeah, that's what we're going to do next. And what I think I'll do here is do a quick little spike to figure out how to do red values in a text field. So I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. Turned out to be really simple. There's a set foreground method that will set the color of the text field. I also took a few moments to look at how easy it was to put an icon inside of a text field, and that's not quite so straightforward. You have to compose your own text field or override the paint method. So we'll come back to that one. But first, just getting the color to turn red shouldn't be too big of a deal. This is going to interact with the design that we have, though, for having dollars self-render. So this could be a little bit interesting. So right now, inside of dollars, both valid dollars and invalid dollars, we have this render method that will cause that object to render itself to a label. Of course, the problem is that we want to turn the text field red, and it's not a label. It's something else. So what we need to do is, rather than passing in this label, we need to pass in, say, a render surface or something like that. I don't know. And then, which will be an interface that we can put whatever we want onto. So let's refactor that in that way and see how it works out. This is something that I did in episode 91 for those of you who are new, and at the time I wasn't sure if it was a good idea. I liked the idea of having the rendering and the decisions about how to render right in line with all the other stuff about how valid dollars works. What I didn't like, and what the other people who were watching didn't like so much, was having UI-related stuff inside of domain layer objects. So in a way, turning this into an interface will help clean things up. But in another way, it makes things more complicated. I still think that this is better because the alternative is having, I believe the alternative is having if statements inside of our UI saying, if we're valid dollars, do this, if we're invalid dollars, do that. And that's a really big separation from the dollars class and its subclasses. If I had another subclass, do I need to go in and change all those if statements? Do I have to go find all those if statements? Am I easily going to forget one? So kind of I suspect we're in a, lesser of two evils situation. And I'm choosing the way that's a little idiosyncratic. It's a little less common. And maybe there's a really obvious design pattern that I've just completely spaced on or never heard of. But I don't know. I'm gonna give this a shot, see how it works out. So my idea here is to create a new interface to replace this JLabel and have that interface implement set icon, set tooltip text, set text, or define these four things that we are currently allowed to do to the target. That will have the side effect of making the valid dollars, the invalid dollars test and the valid dollars test so much better, because they will no longer directly refer to a label. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to start here. We're going to render to, how about render yourself? Renders itself. And we're going to need a new interface. Let's call it a render target. And we'll need some sort of render target class, instantiation. And we want set icon, set tooltip text, set text, and set foreground color. Let's just go ahead and grab these out. What I'm doing here is I'm sort of simultaneously defining the test and the interface at the same time. The test is just really simple. It's going to store the values off into public variables so that I can later assert on them. Okay. So we've got that, and now we'll need and this feels much more important than the other ones, so I'm going to put it at the top. So there we go. Okay. And, you know, we maybe want to make that, yeah, I'll come back to that. Might want to make that render target a stub, or, you know, not just an inner class, anonymous class, but an actual class that we can use over and over again. Let's see. I guess the only problem here now is that we haven't defined render target. Okay, there we go. Now what's it complaining about? Never read locally. Well, that's because we haven't done it yet. Okay, so now I should be able to just say render to the target, and the target dot text Yeah, of course, valid dollars doesn't support that just yet. Oh, huh. All right. There's this whole, so I'm going to extract out this as a proper class. I'm not sure if it's a fake or a stub. I know it's not a mock. There's this whole lexicon that people get very excited about, and I've never, honestly, I could never be bothered to figure out what all the different variants of stub, fake, mock, stub, yada yada were. So I'm pretty sure I'm getting the language wrong here, but whatever. Anyway, I have to pull it out because, once again, Java straitjacket. There. Now I can get that value. Now, why isn't this working? Method render. Oh, it's in dollars. Okay. Yeah, that would be the problem. So I'll just go ahead and there we go. And that no longer gets used. So this should fail because I haven't actually implemented this code yet. Expected $20 but was null. So now I can go ahead and steal this. Okay. And it looks like boy, this is really not making it easy for me to do this gradually, is it? Okay, let's try it now. All right, so there we go. It's sort of a fumbling, very tentative steps towards refactoring this to use a proper render target interface. I'd say that Java is making my life more difficult than I really need it to be. But we'll get there. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.